Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Ultima 6, The False Prophet. In our last episode, the Avatar had returned to Britannia to be tasked by Lord British to defend the realm against invasion by the mysterious gargoyles. The Avatar responded to the call by picking up everything in the castle that wasn't nailed down and socializing with everybody he met. Anyway, welcome back, folks. Now, there were three things. I say this every episode. There's something I wanted to talk to you about that I forgot last time, but I promise this will hopefully be the last time I say this. But there were three things I did need to mention. They just hadn't come up yet. If I go ahead and click on one of my characters here to bring up the inventory screen, and when we click on this little portrait face here, it brings us to a statistics screen. Here you get a nice portrait of your character, but what I really wanted to point out were your stats here. Strength, dexterity, and intelligence. Strength is used to determine how much your character can carry. I mentioned encumbrance in our last episode. Also, how effectively they can strike with bludgeoning weapons. Clubs, anything like that. Something using, obviously, bludgeoning force. Dexterity determines how quick your character is. A faster character is going to be able to move more often, and attack more often in combat, as well as they're going to be more effective with non-bludgeoning weapons, as well as the missile weapons like crossbows and bows, etc. Your intelligence is going to determine the character's ability to bargain in conversations with shopkeepers, and also how effective they are as a shopkeeper. Now, the maximum score that they can have in any one of these attributes is 30. As you can see, we're higher in dexterity because of the way I answered the questions during the Gypsies quiz back at the beginning of the game. I also wanted to point out we have our magic points, 38 out of 38. As we cast spells, that will obviously go down and we regain it over time. Our hit points, likewise, 90 out of 90. As we get hit, we lose hit points. As we rest in camp out in the wilderness or rest in inns, or use certain magic spells, we can regain that as well. Once we hit 0, our characters die and have to be resurrected. Lastly, our avatar happens to be level 3 out of a possible total of 8, and he has 396 experience. As our experience goes up, he'll be able to level up to level 4 and onward. Now, unlike other role-playing games, you do not level up automatically. In order to level up, you need to visit the shrines. But the last we heard, the shrines have been captured by the gargoyles, so that creates something of a conundrum for us, and we'll have to work that out as the game goes on. So I just wanted to share this screen with you, and I also, as you can see, we can view the stats of any of our characters here by clicking on these buttons. And if we click here, this takes us back to our party mode. Now, the second thing I wanted to mention, since we're leaving the castle, we will soon be getting into situations where we're going to have to fight somebody. I mentioned before that our characters don't always have to, our characters for the most part will handle themselves in combat. We move the avatar around and the other characters will react based on how we've set them up. I'm going to go ahead and quickly explain that to you as well. As you can see right now, Dupre is set to be in the front. We can change that with this. Now, characters that are in the front, rear, or flank are going to basically position themselves in a formation centered around the avatar, and they'll attack enemies accordingly. Front, obviously the front lines, rear, they'll be behind you, flank to the side. You can also set your character to be in Berserk mode. Berserk means that character is going to charge and attack the strongest foe on the field. Retreat does what it says. They're going to hang back, try to get away, and avoid the combat. That's useful if you have a weaker character who may be low on hit points. Lastly, Assault mode, they're going to attack the nearest enemy. You can also set them to Command mode if you really want to micromanage your battle. That means that every single person who goes, you get to determine turn by turn what everybody does individually. That can get a little tedious, so for now I'm going to set Dupre to the front, Shamano as well to the front, Yolo being a ranged person to the rear, and the same with Sherry. And now we're ready to go. The third and last thing I wanted to mention is, as we pass out of this door, we are now outside of Lord British's castle. Lord British had mentioned that we were welcome to borrow anything we wanted inside his castle. He did not say anything about us borrowing anything from outside his castle. From now on, if we take things, that's going to affect, it's going to get us possibly in trouble with the town guards and whoever we stole from, and it's also going to affect our karma score. Remember, the Avatar is a virtuous person. It is not virtuous to steal, so we'll have to avoid that if we can help it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on with the game. Welcome to the town of Britain. Ah, someone has come up to us. You see a sly-looking fellow dressed in rags. "Hello, my good man." "Well, hello yourself, sir. What's your name?" He glances around quickly to see if anyone seems to be listening. "I'm Lord British, but don't tell anyone. I'm in disguise so I can mingle with the commoners." Well, that seems perfectly legitimate. You're in disguise, you say? Very convincing, don't you think? I made it myself. So you want to mingle with the commoners? Of course, nobody would dare say anything bad about me to my face. Nobody except Chuckles, anyway. But as a beggar, people will tell me just about anything. What about Chuckles? He's in disguise too, you know. He's really Blackthorn. Blackthorn? I decided banishment was too harsh for him, so I brought him back and made him my jester. The real Chuckles is tied up in my dungeons. I got tired of him making fun of my nose. You know, so far this guy hasn't said anything that really seems all that suspicious. Maybe he really is Lord British. So Chuckles is in the dungeons. I'm Lord British, and I can do whatever I want to. So what's your job, Lord British? I'm pretending to be a beggar. That way nobody will suspect who I really am. Here, give me a few coins to keep anyone from getting suspicious. Do we give him any money? Sure, I'll give him a coin. Oh, I don't have that much, because Dupre's holding all my gold. So we won't give him anything for now. Broke, are you? Well, come by after I'm done with this disguise. And I'll give you a loan from the Royal Treasury. The Treasury? I've got 40 million crowns, not to mention my secret bank accounts. Secret bank accounts? I told you not to mention that. Now, you said you were a beggar? I'm really Lord British. I can prove it to you. I know all of the 8 mantras, and where the runes are, too. Oh, the 8 mantras, yeah, I'm familiar with those being the Avatar, after all. I killed a dragon when I was 8, with my bare hands, too. A dragon? He was a big one, but he hadn't reckoned with the likes of me. I was a tough kid. I was so tough, he couldn't chew me, and he had to spit me out. That's when I killed him. I think these tales are starting to get a little bit taller. Let's ask him about the mantras. Okay, here are the mantras. Do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti. Gosh, wouldn't you know it? The mantra of honesty slips my mind at the moment. Yeah, that seems logical. Well, where are the runes? I'll tell you this because you look like someone who can keep a secret. I sent out 8 fake runes to all the lords to fool everybody. I put all the real ones in a little box and hid it under my throne. You can't see it there because I turned it invisible. Invisible? A clever trick, or I'm not Finn. Finn? Oh, that's just the name I'm pretending to go by. Of course, I'm really Lord British. I can see you're too smart to be fooled by this disguise. Nope, yep, there's no way you could fool me, Lord British. I'll talk to you later, my liege. If you need me later, I'll be at the Blue Boar disguised as the tavern keeper. But I won't admit it there, if you ask me. Too many people that might hear. You see Shamino smiling, an unusual sight. Noticing your attention, he says, Perhaps there's a little of Lord British in us all. Now that's funny because, of course, Shamino's also based on Lord British, and I'm guessing Finn is to an extent, but somehow I find it strange that Shamino is so amused by a con artist, but either way, let's continue on our way. Now, we're in the middle of the town of Britain here, but before we go around exploring the town, there is a bit of an urgent call to go visit Cove, and I think the Avatar would respond to that first. So we're going to pass through the town, and we'll come back and talk to these folks later. Now, if you've ever played any of the Ultima games, you'll know that they all come with maps, cloth maps, that give you a layout of the land. this game is no different. In fact, I've got my cloth map right here in front of me to tell me where to go. That's when Jeffrey told me that I had to go to the town of Cove. I can look at my cloth map, see where Lord British's castle is, I can see where Cove is, and I have a vague idea of which road to follow. If you're following along, obviously, with this Let's Play, you may not have a map in front of you, but feel free to pull up an Ultima 6 map using Google, and you can follow along with where we're going, and you can kind of get an idea of how I know which way to go. The town of Cove is going to be to the east of the town of Britain. There's a road that passes over a river, then the road passes north again, across another river, and then passes next to the Shrine of Compassion, and then you're there in the town. Here's a guard marking the end of the town boundary, and we're off in the wilderness. Now, unlike previous Ultima games, in previous Ultima games, the world was represented by an overworld map. When you reached a town, you stepped onto the town, onto an icon for the town, and entered it, and it took you to a new map, an instance for the town. Ultima 6 was the first game in the Ultima series where the towns and the surrounding countryside were all rendered as part of one large map, so there's no exiting the town and going to a different map for the overworld. Anyway, here's that first river that I mentioned. This road leading up here is where the Moon Gate for Britain used to be, but for some reason it's not there. So we'll just continue on our way. The road passes north. And as I mentioned, over another river. There's a fork in the road, and we're going to go ahead and save our game here. Because we're approaching the Shrine of Compassion. And as we know, the Shrine of Compassion was attacked by gargoyles, who are now attacking us. Let's try fighting them and see how well we can do. We'll go ahead and begin our combat mode. Shamino is paralyzed. We'll go ahead and attack this gargoyle with our sword. Ah, the gargoyle's fleeing. Looks like victory is ours. We'll go ahead and break off our combat and get our people back together here. Shamino is unfortunately still paralyzed. But now he's back to normal. There's some sort of force field over the shrine. And I can't talk to the shrine either. Obviously the gargoyles have disabled it in some way, and I'm not able to affect it in any way. And if you look there, it looks like there's a moonstone in the center of it. You can see the phase of the moon etched on it. This is very mysterious. We need to get some answers here. We're going to continue on our way to the town of Cove and talk to the survivors of that battle. Now, for future reference, doors that have this sort of glowing pink thing around the doorknob are magically locked. We're not going to be able to open those just yet in this part of the game. Let's talk to this gentleman here. You see a distinguished-looking gentleman. Greetings, my lord, and welcome to the town of Cove. How might I be of assistance this fine evening? Oh, well, what's your name, sir? I am the Viscount Armand. And what is thy name? I'm attentive. Well met, my lord. What's your job, Armand? I govern here in Cove. 'Tis hard work, but my people love me for it. I always thought it a blessing to live so close to a shrine, though since the gargoyles came, none dare go near it. That is a shame. You said you're you govern Cove. We have fine facilities here for healing the wounded and the sick. A party of adventurers came here after their attempt to defeat the gargoyles at the Shrine of Compassion. I spoke with their leader when they arrived. Thou shouldst speak with him thyself. He told of a strange, violet energy field. I think mayhap this 'tis similar to the force which blocked entry to the shrines many years ago. The 8 mystic runes were most useful in those days. Yes, we'll talk to that leader. He's in bed as Sasha is recuperating. Use the rune of compassion whilst chanting the mantra of compassion. Methinks this may negate the gargoyle's magic at that shrine. The mantra, you say? Ask Lord British's Chancellor, Tholden. He canst tell thee of the mantra, and like as not he will also know of the rune. Tell me more of the shrine. In Britannia there are 8 shrines, one for each of the 8 virtues of the Avatar. They are places where people can go to meditate on these virtues. The virtues are honesty, compassion, valor, justice, sacrifice, honor, spirituality, and humility. 'Tis good to meditate on these virtues often. Each shrine has its own mantra. This is a chant which one should recite while meditating therein. Once there was a time when a special rune was required to enter each shrine as well. I remember that well from Ultima 4. Now the gargoyles have taken the Shrine of Compassion, and it is lost to the people once more. Well, thank you very much for your help, Mr. Armand. Good luck, Sirrah, and good luck with thy quest. Well, it looks like we have a way forward. If we can get ourselves the Rune of Compassion, take it to the shrine and use the Mantra of Compassion, we may be able to free that shrine from control. Let's talk to some other people in this town, though, just to be sure. Shamino mentions that he heard something to the northeast. Shamino, is very good at hearing monsters and enemies before you stumble upon them. You see a pretty young nurse with violet eyes. Leave these men alone! Can't you see they need rest? Rest? Aye, these men's wounds need time to heal. Thou hast kept me from my duties long enough. Away with thee! And if we ask her to heal, more wounded, I'll do what I can. I think the poor nurse seems weary beyond words. We're not going to bother her with healing right now. We don't actually need it. Is there aught else I can do with thee? Well, what's your name? My name is Sasha. And your job? I tend the sick. I know how to heal, cure, and resurrect. And she's really not willing to talk with us. She's a very busy woman. Show thy compassion now and let them sleep. Aye, these men's wounds need time to heal. Well, we'll go ahead and allow that. But we do need to speak with the survivors of the attack, as Joffrey asked. You see a feverish-looking warrior. Girdle. This gentleman's obviously not going to be of much help to us. You see a heavily scarred man with a look of agony on his face. The pain, will it never stop? What's your name, sir? Oh, the pain! What's your job, oh, the pain? My head is pounding like a drum. Oh, you're a musician, you say. Can you tell me of the shrine? Oh, the pain! Well, yes, I know your name. Dupre chimes in. Avatar, I think you're being a fool. Let him sleep. You see a burly man who looks a little healthier than the other patients. Good day, my lord. What is thy name? I'm attentive. I am called Gurten. My fellows and I are recovering from a fierce battle. A battle? We sought to liberate the Shrine of Compassion. My men fought valiantly, but the gargoyles were too much for us. They did slay more than half our party. Slay? Aye, I doubt not they were using foul magic of some kind. What sort of magic? A moonstone was upon the shrine, surrounded by a strange violet glow. I tried to get to it, but 'twas surrounded by some kind of force field. A force field? 'Tis a matter beyond my comprehension. What is your job, Gurtan? I lead my men into battle, whenever Geoffrey sends me. Geoffrey. He is captain of the guard. We sought to liberate the Shrine of Compassion. And we already asked him that, yes. May thy efforts meet with more success than mine. And we'll go ahead and talk to the last gentleman here. You see an unconscious man, his face twisted with pain, and he offers you no response. So obviously there's not a whole lot we can do here. Now Shamino said he heard something to the north, so let's go in this building and see what he heard. Looks like there's a drake. A baby dragon. Let's get away from that while we can, because it's attacking us. What sort of person would have a pet drake standing by their front door? Ah, it's a mage. You see a dark-bearded man dressed in flowing white robes. Greetings, mighty avatar. For what hast thou come to my place? What is your name, sir? I am Rodium. What's your job? I sell magic books and reagents and teach spells. You have reagents? My shop is closed right now. If we come back, during the daytime, he'll be able to sell us magical reagents, as well as magic spells, more spells for our book. That's very convenient. So we'll be back to talk to him later. May peace follow thee, Avatar. As you can see, he's heading for his bed. In Ultima 6, the characters, the non-player characters, all follow schedules based on the rising and the setting of the sun. And as it seems it's dark, we might as well want to do the same. Let's go ahead and find a place to rest up for the night. Unfortunately, because we're inside a town, we can't actually rest. We can rest only in the wilderness. But if we move far enough out of town, we can rest for 9 hours, and we'll go ahead and have the Avatar stand guard. Everybody has food while Yolo plays a tune. Attentive stands guard while the party rests. The moons move across the sky, and the sun comes up. Shamino, Dupre, and Yolo have healed. Now that we've returned to town, let's see if there's anyone else we can talk to here. Here's the healers. Ah, there's someone we haven't spoken to yet. Oh, that's Armand again. Ah, Attentive, 'tis an honor to welcome thee once more to my humble village. How might I be of assistance this fine morning? We're be on our way. And for right now, that looks like that's everyone that we can speak with in this town. Unfortunately, I made a mistake and stepped through swampland. Something that you need to remember in the Ultima games. This sort of ground here that's glistening and glowing is actually swamp, and swamp is poisonous. Fortunately, the Avatar does have a spell book, as well as a spell called Dispel Magic. If he casts a spell magic upon himself, he can cure his poison. That spell is incredible. It comes in handy in this game and gets used quite a lot. While we're here, let's go ahead and speak with Rodium again and see what sort of spells he has to offer. Unfortunately, he's not awake yet, so we're going to go ahead and pass some time and wait for the sun to move a little bit further across the sky. There he is. If we ask him about his spells, in which circle does Attentive wish to study? He can give us any of these spells: create food, douse, heal, or ignite. In the second circle, he has no spells. In the third, he could give us Mass Awaken. In the fourth, we're not quite ready for the fourth circle. We can get a Greater Heal spell. In the fifth circle, Pickpocket and Seance. Pickpocket comes in handy later. In the sixth circle, he has nothing to offer. Nothing in the seventh circle. And Resurrect in the eighth circle, another very useful spell. Now, we're not going to buy any spells just now, but it's good to plan ahead for what we're going to buy as we need it. Now that we have a solution to our problem, we obviously need to go ahead and get the Rune of Compassion, as well as the Mantra of Compassion in order to free this shrine. And we're going to go ahead and skirt the outside of the shrine in case the gargoyles came back. In fact, there they are. Looks like there's nothing for it but to fight. Now, Attentive was hit with a Paralyze spell. Because of that, control has been handed over to Dupre temporarily. We've killed one of the gargoyles, a large winged one. Looks like this wingless gargoyle is fleeing. And we've killed him as well. We'll go ahead and break off combat, and we'll search for the spoils. The gargoyle had nothing but leather armor, and the wingless gargoyle had nothing. However, by being successful in combat, the people who managed to hit gained experience. But we have to wait for Sherry to wake up from her paralysis. If I cast a spell magic on her... apparently... Oh, she was already back to normal. Let's make our way back to Britain and safety, avoiding the swamp ground. If you notice, Yolo is wearing a green pair of boots, unlike everyone else. These boots are called swamp boots. Swamp boots make the character immune to the poisonous effects of swamps. Something we'll have to do very early on in the game, or at the nearest convenience, is to get ourselves a bunch of sets of swamp boots for everybody. Fortunately, we've made it back to Britain. Unfortunately, our characters are in dire shape. Their hit points are pretty low. However, if you remember, Lord British did offer us free healing. So we'll race our way back to Lord British's throne room. Ah, it's Finn again. Unfortunately, we don't have time to talk with you, sir. I mean Lord British in disguise. Unfortunately, Lord British is not in his throne room. Ah, he's here. He's having lunch. You see the noble ruler of Britannia. Good afternoon, Attentive. What wouldst thou speak of? Could you heal us, please? Lord British waves his hand, and your whole party is healed. May fortune favor thee. And as you can see, our hit points have all gone up. Now that we've returned to Lord British's throne room quite a few times, I think it's time to go ahead and demonstrate for you the way the Orb of the Moons works. Let's go ahead and step out of here quickly, real fast. As you may remember, the Avatar came to Britannia with the Orb of the Moons. And Lord British mentioned that the way of using it is to position it on the ground a few feet from you, and the proper position, the proper placement is going to determine where it takes you. Well, since there's one area that we've been to over and over again, I think we can go ahead and start using the orb to return there now. If we use the orb and place it one step in front of us, it'll create a red moon gate, which will take us back to Lord British's throne room anytime we want. And we'll go ahead and use that from now on whenever we need to go back to Lord British for healing. There's one last thing we should ask Lord British while we're here. Lord British, tell me about your nose. Who told thee of thy nickname? It was, sorry to say, it was Chuckles. Well, I'd rather thou didst not call me that. Farewell, sir. Now that we've gotten Chuckles in trouble, let's get out of here. Now, before we quit for today, let's go ahead and examine one last building here in the town of Britain. Ah, there's a musician. You see a lively bard with laughter in his eyes. Welcome, my lord. I am Sir Kenneth, and I'd gladly play a song for thee. Sir Kenneth is one of these NPCs that's based on a real-life person. He's based on Kenneth W. Arnold, who is a long-time composer of music in the Ultima games, and also a programmer. In the game, he's been placed in here as a bard. Play us a song, sir. Kenneth plays a delightful little melody for you. What's your job, sir? My wife and I teach young bards the arts of composition, performance, and improvisation. We also give concerts on occasion. Oh, what kind of concerts? Bards must be well versed in such matters. You and your wife play? Her name is Nan. Whatever you do, don't say anything to her about spiders. Spiders? She has quite an imagination. Sometimes she lets it carry her away. Usually it doesn't give her any trouble. Until we meet again. Let's talk to Nan. You see a nervous young bard. I would play for thee, but I'm worried about my lute. What's your name? I'm Lady Nan. And your job? Why, making music, of course. With my lute. Your lute? Every time I pick up my lute, spiders crawl out of it. There must be hundreds of them nesting in there. Ugh, that's kind of troubling. Spiders? I hate spiders. They're creepy, ugly, disgusting things. Why won't they leave me alone? Iolo says to her, Now, my dear, have you forgotten about the gloves I gave you? Oh, yes, perhaps if I wore those I could play. You have gloves? Iolo gave them to me for my birthday. That was very nice of him. Well, have a good day, ma'am. Fare thee well, and watch thy step. The spiders are lurking everywhere. You see a cute little girl with short hair. My parents told me never to talk to strangers. What's your name? I'm Attentive. Okay, now I can talk to you. What's your name? She curtsies gracefully. Ariana is my name. What's your job? I'm learning to be a bard. I like to play the harpsichord best. A bard? I want to be a bard when I grow up. They have more fun than anybody. Oh yes, lots of it. And you're learning to play the harpsichord? I've been studying to be a bard since I was this many. She holds up 3 fingers. I'd like to play something for you, but I'm not good enough yet. She looks away for a moment, then turns back to you, blushing slightly. Will you come back to hear my music when I'm older if you can? Sure. The little girl's face breaks out into a smile bright enough to light up the whole room. Really, I would like that very much. See you later. Now, one thing we need to start doing, we're looking for the rune and the mantra of compassion, so we need to start talking to some people about that. It helps to talk to everybody in town about that. Let's ask Sir Kenneth if he knows anything about the mantra. I've been trying to work the mantra of compassion into a song, but I don't know what moo means. Dost thou know what it means? Tell me, what does it mean? Compassion. No, I don't think that's it. Unfortunately, we don't know what it means. Nobody I know does either. Well, we can ask around for that. But we've gotten the rune of the mantra of compassion. It's moo. Do you know anything about the rune? Ariana has the rune, and they could hardly have found a sweeter child to give it to. Ariana, the little girl? Once in a great while, a student comes along with such a gift for learning that one need but offer a little guidance and step back and watch them learn. To have such students is the most rewarding part of a teacher's job, and Ariana is one such. Well, let's talk to Ariana. She has the rune. I have the rune of compassion. Isn't it pretty? She reaches into her pocket and takes it out to show you. Do you need it for something? Yes, we do. Are you on an important quest? We are. I'm not supposed to let anyone else have it, but if you truly need it, I don't know what I should do. I know, my parents run the Blue Boar Tavern. Go ask them if you can borrow the rune. If they say 'tis okay, I'll give it to you. Alright, we'll go ahead and do that. So we're off to speak to Ariana's parents. Now, the Blueborn Tavern is the major tavern here in the town of Britain. Joffrey's here buying ammunition and weapons for his army. There's Finn again. And we're ignoring him again. You see a gaunt fellow, with eyes that take in everything and reveal nothing. When you address him, the man replies with gestures that appear to be some kind of sign language. When he sees that you can't understand him, he shrugs his shoulders and returns to his duties. Dupre puts his hand on your shoulders and whispers, Matt here had a most unfortunate accident as a child, and it left him deaf and dumb. I suggest you ask his wife instead, attentive. You see a buxom woman who looks hard-working yet contented. Good afternoon, my lord, and welcome to the Blue Boar Tavern. Art thou here for business or pleasure? Business, unfortunately. Wouldst thou like ale, mead, wine, rations, or perhaps a cake? None of that for right now. What happens if we say pleasure? Good, perhaps thou might stay and talk with me a while before I'm back about my work. What's your name? I am Anya. And your job? I run this tavern to support my family. The hours are long, but my husband offers what help he can. We make enough to pay for my daughter's schooling, so 'tis all worthwhile. Your family? My husband Matt and my daughter Ariana. This is the lady we need to speak with. Tell me about Matt. He had an accident as a child which left him deaf and dumb, but I love him all the same. I only wish he could hear our daughter play just once. But 'twill ne'er come to pass. He lives in a world of eternal silence. Her face brightened suddenly. You have the look of one who practices the art of magic. Perhaps thou couldst find some spell that might restore my husband's hearing. I know 'tis a lot to ask, but wilt thou try? I can try. Oh, thank you, my lord. And your daughter? Ariana is the light of my life. Seems she had scarce learned to walk when she first showed a gift for music. She studies now with the Bards at the conservatory. Bless their hearts for teaching her well. She'll be no tavern wench when she grows older. Perhaps she'll even be court musician to Lord British some day. I have to ask you about your daughter, actually. I have need of the rune of compassion. Thou dost wish to borrow the rune of compassion for my daughter? She pauses a while in thought. Very well. Thou dost have an honest face. I grant thee my permission. Thank you. Well, 'tis about time I was back about my work. Dishes to wash, food to cook, drinks to serve. I thank thee for stopping by to brighten my day with thy conversation. Do thou come again. And while we're here, we'll speak with this last lady. You see a sad lady with hair down to her ankles. A soft jingling accompanies her silent walk. Rather than talking, she sings in a voice like wind through reeds. Hail there, my lord. Come listen to me. I've plenty of time to sing unto thee. Lizina they call me, Lizina the dove. From Cove I did come. 'Tis a town full of love. 'Tis the aim of my life to sing like a bird. Wouldst thou like to hear the news I've heard? Sure. Then tell me what would please thee more. A song of the sea or a rhyme of the shore? We'll start with a song. The Dutchman was a giant ship with masts from the largest trees. The pride of the people she was hailed, the ruler of all the sea. She sailed out of port one fine spring day and headed for distant shores. But a Brittany caught her by surprise. 'Twas flung against her core. The match between the grim men fought to gather in her sails. But thunderous was the crack, and lo, the mighty vessel reeled. When gentle winds danced across the surf, again the followed morn, 'twas nothing left of Dutchy's hull, but remnants of her bourne. And now the tale has nothing left, but a grave site on the floor. On the fens of the dead she came to rest, ne'er to sail no more. And what of a rhyme of the shore? South of Loch Lake and north of the bay, the beautiful shrine of compassion doth lay. My Artegal set out to chant there one day, but still he has not returned. Was he taken by giants or headless so foul that nary a man could contend with the smell? He should have come home weeks ago now, but still he hath not returned. He is a healer, you see. Farewell, my friend. Alright, let's head back and get that rune. And when we have a little bit more time to spare, we'll look into these buildings in more detail. Quickly, before the sun goes down, we'll speak with Ariana. Hi, did you get permission from my parents to borrow the rune? We sure did. Then here you are. She hands you the rune. I wish you the best of luck on your quest. See you later. With little time to spare, the Avatar and his party are heading for the Shrine of Compassion. But the sun is quickly falling. So we'll stop here. Oops, excuse me. In this building here, excuse me, I was in the wrong building. You see a well-dressed man with a very even temper. Greetings, travelers, and welcome to the Wayfarer's Inn. 40 gold for bed and breakfast. Interested? Your party takes up a collection to pay for the rooms, and you sleep in a comfortable bed. You wake rested and eat a large breakfast. Good morning and have a good day. So what's your name, sir? I'm Peyton, and this is my place. He gestures with his hands. I can offer you a room for the evening. Well, we don't need another one. Goodbye, take care of yourself. As night falls, if towns have an inn, you can obviously stay there. For a nice meager amount of gold, you can go ahead and fast forward to daybreak and not have to deal with walking around in the darkness. And since we're about to head off into one last battle for the day, it's helpful that we wait for daybreak. Shamano says, I hear something to the east. I've got a pretty good idea what he hears. Must be those gargoyles at that shrine again. We've got to find some way to free it for good. Ah, there they are. Let's begin combat. That is a nasty spell there. I'm going to very quickly set Sherry to retreat, because she is in no shape to continue in this battle. In fact, she's now in critical shape. But I can cast a healing spell upon her. Didn't do much, honestly. But the gargoyle's in critical condition. Ah. One gargoyle's down. And the other one's down. Club, a helmet, and a wooden shield. Let's move this body out of the way here. Looks like this other one's coming back. Let's resume combat. He's still in critical condition. He only came back long enough to hit us, and now he's dead. This gargoyle had a bow and leather armor. Go ahead and take that bow. Might be of use to somebody later. And this gargoyle had a boomerang. We'll go ahead and grab that. Now we were told to go ahead and use the mantra, use the rune with the mantra upon the shrine. So let's try that. We're going to use the rune of compassion. The mantra we were told was Mu. And the force field's gone! We'll go ahead and claim that moonstone, and now it looks like the Shrine of Compassion has been freed. You see the Altar of Compassion. As you kneel before the altar, a mystical voice sounds in your head. Thy deeds serve as an example to all. Do you wish to meditate at this altar? Yes. Let's see if Attentive can level up. Speak the mantra of compassion. Mu. No beast so fierce but shows some touch of pity. Sweet mercy is nobility's true badge. Attentive has gained a level, and dexterity. There is naught else for you to learn here and now. Return when thy journey has progressed further. Now we can repeat this process for each of our characters. Let's see if Dupre has leveled up at all. Dupre has gained a level and dexterity. Excellent. Shamano could use some dexterity if it's available. Shamano has also gained a level and dexterity. Excellent. Yolo already has a fairly high dexterity, but can't hurt to max it out. Yolo has gained a level and dexterity. And he has his dexterity all the way up to 29 out of 30. Now Sherry's already very dexterous, and I don't think she's ready to level up because I don't think she actually did much in the combat. Just in case, though, I don't want her to speak at this shrine. I'd like to work on her strength. We need her to be able to carry more stuff and have higher hit points. Now that we've freed the Shrine of Compassion, there's one thing left to do. We'll use the Orb of the Moons to travel back to Lord British and report in. Could you heal us, my liege? Lord British waves his hand and your whole party is healed. Well, we've freed one of the 8 shrines from the control of the gargoyles. That's a pretty good start. So far, the Avatar's quest seems to be going particularly well, but who knows what other forces the gargoyles have to array against us in the future shrines. And that looks like a good place to quit for today. I'm just going to get out of the way of Finn here. Back into the town. In our next episode, we'll spend a little bit more time exploring the rest of the town of Britain, and then we'll head off on our way to new towns and new shrines. And maybe we'll find out some more about these gargoyles. We still have another lead in the town of Moonglow, maybe trying to get the book translated. So thanks for watching, folks, and I will see you guys next time.